So we know the club, we know the challenge. It's time to try and win as much as we can in 2 seasons max with Paris Saint-Germain. How you doing, everybody, and welcome to part 1 of Club 1 here on Chasing Glory on FM24. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video where we're going to get acclimatised to being here in Paris with Paris Saint-Germain. We're going to try and get the squad ready for what will hopefully be a very fruitful season. And if you're excited to see how this save goes, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me, and don't forget to subscribe. It is completely free to do so, and you'll make me a very happy chap. So, what are we doing here? So, we're going to be looking to win as much as possible, obviously. That is the aim of the game of a Glory Hunter type save, as it is going to be with Chasing Glory. The idea for these potentially 2 seasons, hopefully only 1, because that'll give us more time in other places, is to just try and win as much as we can in French football. So, in terms of that, what have we got to play for? Well, a fair bit. Obviously, the Trophée des Champions, we're not that bothered about. That'd be a nice little bonus. But really, it's about Ligue 1, Champions League, and Coupe de France. The Coupe de France and Ligue 1 are the 2 big ones. The Champions League, if we can get it out of the way early, I'd love it. But we've got more time to worry about that. So we'll see how we do with the Champions League. We will obviously be entering in the group stage in September. But we're going to work on these 2 for this season. If for some reason we don't do one of them, we'll come back next year and give it a go. I think the league is going to be the one that we can do. I think the Coupe de France is the one that it's a cup competition. It can throw up some issues. So that's what we're looking at. Now, in terms of how we're going to be playing this season, I've already had a tinker with some tactics and had a quick look. And I'm feeling something along these lines. A tiki-taka, let me just change that to positive. A tiki-taka of this kind of vibe is what I am thinking of. We've obviously got some exceptional players at Paris Saint-Germain. But the reason why I wanted to manage them, I'm not going to lie. We've got some exceptional players. I really want to use some of them. When am I going to get to use Kylian Mbappe? It's not often I will be able to. We've got some fantastic young talent like Kolo Muani, who I think he lit up the last World Cup, didn't he? He was sensational. Vitinha I've used before. He's very good. Ugarte I've sort of used before. Didn't have much luck with him. Milan Skriniar, I know. Hernandez, I know. Marquinhos. I mean, I've used a lot of these players before. I mean, I actually did kind of the first attempt at a rebuild. Called it One and Done, which was split over 2 episodes. So already that was doomed to fail. Where we did do a 2-season rebuild with Paris Saint-Germain. It's kind of fun. It's kind of what we're doing at the moment, really. But we're going to be trying to do this with the explicit thing of just trying to win stuff and move on. So this is the squad that we currently have to work with. Now, if we go in ability, we obviously know who the top players are. Mbappe, Marquinhos, Dembele, Hakimi, Hernandez, Skriniar, Donnarumma. They're the big boys. But then we have got this kind of plethora of other talent who are not the sexy names, but they are the players who really are going to help us along the season. Gonçalo Ramos, of course, had a really good World Cup in the last tournament. So he's going to be one who we're hoping breaks through and really does a job for us, especially if/when Kylian Mbappe leaves. Due to expire his contract at the end of this season, I have no interest in renewing his contract, if I'm honest with you, because look at how much money it would cost. I've just got no interest in it at all, so we might end up letting him go. But then we've got players like Fabian, who is a really good playmaker. Marcos Asensio, where did Marcos come from? Marco Asensio, I've used in FM before, and he is a great little player. I used him in my Chelsea beta for last year's FM, and he was great. So fingers crossed he is going forward. Koloslev is just a really good utility player. And again, I said, we've got Kolo Muani. Zaire Emery at 17 looks like he could be a superstar. I'm going to try and get him some game time as the season goes on. Kangin Lee feels like he's been around forever. Hasn't got the potential anymore, but he's a more than capable player to use. And then we've got kind of the dross of the rest of the squad. I've got to say, looking at the squad, there is definitely some fat to trim, but not as much as I was kind of hoping, because money-wise, we don't have a lot. £25 million and only £24,000 a week in wage budget. So I have already put some players on the transfer list. Gonçalo Ramos is coming in to transfer, which is good. But Kurzawa was already on the transfer list. I'm happy to get rid of him, get those wages off. Pereira, we'd get a decent chunk in and get those wages off as well. Kayla Navas I put on the transfer list because, quite frankly, Sergio Rica obviously has had an unfortunate accident in real life many months ago. I think it was in the summer, I think. He won't be available until next season at the earliest. And then we've got the... where is he? The other goalkeeper. This guy who's 2-star potential, 3-star... Sorry, 2-star current ability, 3-star potential. he'd do a job as good as Navas. So we might as well go ahead and use him. Or we move him on and we get the value of him instead. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, he literally has joined Paris Saint-Germain at some point recently. In fact, this season, so we couldn't move him on anyway. So I think, yeah, moving Navas on, getting that money, I think is going to be the priority there. And then, was there anyone else on transfer list? Ekitike, because sure, I mean, apparently we get decent value for him. He's on the loan list. I'm actually going to sell him. I know he's a young, talented player, but we need money to really try and get this squad as good as it can be. So I think we're just going to do that while we're on camera now and just hope someone comes in for him. I don't know whether they will or not. I just don't know. Carlos Soler and Fabian having wanted symbols next to them are interesting to me. I don't want to sell them because I've used both of them before and they are handy players. However, having said that, if a club was to come in for them, I wouldn't say no. I'll be honest, I wouldn't say no. I'm just realising as well, you probably can't see their names. They're just there. I think a lot of these players, the value isn't necessarily going to be there for the ones I've got transfer listed, apart from two of them. It's more about the wages of Keylor Navas, Pereira and Kurzawa. We can get those guys off the books. That'd be fantastic, especially because we've got injuries. Bernat is obviously not at the club, but he has got an injury for a few months. Mukiele has got an injury for 2 months. He would be a back or right back or potentially centre back. Nuno Mendes is the big one, up to 8 months out, and Kimpembe is out for up to 3 months. So we are doing without one of our centre backs, potentially another one as well, our backup right back, and also our backup left back, potentially starting left back, because as well, the moment the system that we've got has got a back four with a complete wing back on one side and an inverted full back on the other. Theo Hernandez can play both as a left back and as a centre back. At the moment, he's playing in a position that kind of does both. Once we get, where is he? Once we get Mendes fit again, it's going to be a decision to make at that point. But in 8 months' time, I mean, he'll be nothing more than the backup at that point, really, because he won't have integrated into the squad for the season. So I'm not too worried about that. But it does mean that we definitely need to get more left back cover because Kurzawa is going to be going. So actually, we can get him out of here. We don't need him there. Once we've got... Where's Kimpembe? Once we've got Kimpembe back, it obviously makes things look a little bit better here, but we still need at least 2 defenders, I think. Even if it's just one defender to cover for the first half of the season, and then they can become a utility player. So I think we need to bring someone in either on the cheap or on loan for a left back. Then we need to bring another centre back in, and then we kind of reassess at that point. Midfield, I think, is fine if I can get Xavi Simons back from his loan. He's currently on loan at Leipzig. I would like to bring him back because I want to use him. I think he'll be really, really good for us as a cover player for Soler. If Soler goes and Fabian go, brilliant. We've got money to spend at that point. And then the wing options, I mean, I'm very comfortable with the front three as it is at the moment. The backup front three are fine. If I could get someone in who's better than Kangin Lee, I would be happy with that. But I think Kangin Lee's got some decent stats there that mean he could do a job for us. In terms of the tactics, we are going to go because like a modified vertical tiki-taka, my own twist on it. It's what I used for Aston Villa at the end of the save. Not exactly, I've kind of just remade it as I've gone. Also what I used for the Dortmund save. Did I use it for the Dortmund save actually? I can't remember. Did I use a tiki-taka for Dortmund? I might have done. Might have gone a bit nuts. So that's the squad. And in terms of areas we need to improve on it, it's mainly the defence. We just need backup defenders. Midfield is roughly fine, but again, offers for Fabian or Soler coming, that could change everything. Offers for any of the players down here obviously gives us extra funds to work on here, but at the moment we just don't have the money to do it, so I'm going to have to do some wheeling and dealing, I think. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is we're going to go forward in the transfer window as we normally would. We're going to go forward to September, and when we get to September at the end of the transfer window, that'll be the end of this video. I might throw a video... I might throw a match in here. I haven't decided on exactly what we're going to do in this video yet. It might just be transfer based. And then the next video will have that kind of first part of the season. And we'll throw a couple of matches in there as well and we'll see how it goes. But that's what we're looking at for the moment. Let's go get some transfer business done. And hopefully get this squad ready for the upcoming Ligue 1 campaign. Well, it's the opening day of the season. And as has happened so far through FM24... transfers in this first season have been both difficult to get incoming and outgoing. We have made some, but nowhere near as many as I was hoping we would make. However, we are getting there. There are some more transfers we are still looking to bring in. The First one I brought in was someone who I've already signed on FM24, but I had to do it because he just fitted exactly what we wanted, and that's Nico Schlotterbeck. He's come in as a defender, also as a left back, because remember, we're using an inverted fullback. He could do that job there, but he's going to come in and do a good job for us. And we did spend a decent chunk of money on him, up to £60 million. We only really spent about £20 million up front on him, but that definitely did the job. In terms of other transfers, let's have a quick check. We've made 2 other ones. Now, I'll admit one of them's a flop, straight out the gate. The other one could be good cover. Olivier Bashagli, I brought in basically as cover for Schlotterbeck, so another player who can play out wide and in the middle. I'll be honest with you, it's pretty trash. Potential 2.5 star. He's showing up as already having 2.5 star potential, so a little bit disappointed in him. Doesn't like playing in big matches either, so he's the definition of a cover player. But it's good that we've got someone who can do that, if I'm being honest with you. And then we've signed this guy on loan, Orkun Hoku. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, apologies if I'm not, but we brought him in. And I think he'll be a decent option for us as a cover player in the middle for Carlos Soler. We had a few deals that did not work, and we had a few ideas that didn't work as well. My biggest idea was going to be, we were going to recall Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons cannot be recalled from his loan, which is a problem. So we've ended up having to do a bit of wheeling and dealing. And I just realised we probably should put Koku on the bench, really, shouldn't we? He can go in there instead of... But it has left us a bit short in a few positions. Now, in terms of deals and trying to bring in, we are trying to currently, at a very small budget compared to what I'm looking to do, we are trying to bring in a centre-back. I was going to say either Gertruda or Todibo. Ideally both, because Gertruda could be a backup defensive midfielder. That would pretty much take up all of our budget. I have also got a cheeky offer in for Thiago Almada, because we are also looking to still move a couple of players on. In terms of transfers out, Keylor Navas is the only one at the moment. I've negotiated a loan offer and put him back up for sale. I am also trying to move on Ekitike. Hopefully someone will come in and want him. I mean, he is wanted for transfer and for loan. So if we could get him out the door, I would be really, really happy. In terms of transfers out, we did finally get rid of Danilo Pereira, although it did nearly cause a revolt at the club, if I'm honest with you. But we did get him out in the end for £15 million. Fabian has also left for £30 million. I don't know whether that had already happened or we'd already discussed that, but the reason we did that is because we've got the youngster who's got potential to be a superstar. Where is he? Zaire Emery. But of course he's injured for the first game of the season, because of course he is. So we won't be using him in the first game of the season, but I'm sure he will get plenty of football as the season goes on. So that's the first 11 that we're going to be using for the first game of the season. Now, I'm not going to show you as many games as I normally do in saves with this one. This is going to be kind of a cross between a normal save and a rebuild. We're going to dip in, show a game here and there, skip ahead. That's what we're going to do. And this episode will end at the end of the transfer window. But we're going to play this game first and see how the club does. It is against Lorient. I am going to go attacking, and we're just going to hope for the best, really. What could No, I'm not going to say that. I nearly said what could possibly go wrong, and that would have been utterly ridiculous. So I'm a little bit worried, if I'm honest with you, about this game. By the way, I've got 2 monitors now. I used to only have 1 monitor, so this is the monitor that's got my recording and editing stuff on. If I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the game, just in case you're wondering. Right. Well, I mean, motivation's going to be a problem, because no one seems to want to be motivated. But it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Let's not worry about it. Right. First game of the season. I don't know what the camera settings will be like, because I haven't touched the game at all. And yeah, as I thought, they're really, really naff. Let's just change things. So key highlights. Pump that up a couple. Change that to sideline. Zoom in a fair bit. We're going to go low. I think it's usually somewhere around here. We'll carry the game on and we'll see what it looks like. But that roughly is kind of what we normally go with. Right, Soler on the ball, off kickoff. Gets it out to Hakimi. I mean, remember, Hakimi is going to be kind of the real width down that right-hand flank. I think the speed is definitely not right. Let's just pump it down one. There we go. That should be okay now. I think... I don't want to say it, but in theory, this should be the easiest leg of the journey. Paris Saint-Germain are the undisputed best team in France. No one's really close to them. We would have to balls things up significantly significantly in order for us to not win trophies this year. So it is what it is. Hopefully we will have it in us. I mean, at the moment, we're not actually putting the ball in the back of the net, which is a bit concerning, but that's fine. We seem to be dominating the game, and that is the most important thing. I do think that this is going to be the easier leg of all of them, and Kolo Muani has just gone and scored his first goal of the season. Possibly his first goal of... Yeah, it's his debut. Yeah, first goal that he's ever scored for the club. Lovely to see, and we lead by a goal. Get in there, boys. I keep trying to make the same point. I keep getting distracted. Yes, this is going to be, in my opinion, it is going to be the easiest leg of the Glory Hunter. I nearly forgot what it was called then. Glory Hunter, Road to Glory, Chasing Glory, whatever I've called it. It's going to be the easiest leg of that because of the fact that this is the dominant team in France. However, it is worth pointing out that other teams have, in Paris Saint-Germain's reign of dominance, managed to win it. So it's not a given. It's just statistically likely that we're going to win. Even if we didn't change the squad, it's statistically likely. But I think with the changes that we're making and looking to make, I think we're going to make sure that we've got a decently deep squad, but also we're going to be giving a chance to the younger players as well. Like if we'd kept Fabian, the kid who we were looking to bring in wouldn't be getting an opportunity, and it's important that that kid gets an opportunity because he is a talent. So he's going to get a lot of football this season. Kolo Muani, he's going to get loads of football as well, especially because he scored today. Yeah, I think we're getting rid of some of those older players. It is the smart thing to do, and it might mean that we've got a squad that isn't 100% better than the one that we've got to begin with, but in long term it will be. And also we're bringing in players just to give us some squad depth for this season, because defensively we really needed it. We've really struggled with our defensive squad depth. Colasole going for a worldie there, but it comes out to Hakimi out wide. Lovely work there from Hakimi into Kolo Muani, looking for Mbappe. Can't quite squeeze it through. Vitinha now looking to just try and find the pass. He should have really gone for the shot there. Kolo Muani heads it back across goal. Falls down to Ugarte. Goes back to... I need to call him Theo Hernandez or Teo Hernandez. It's not him. It's Lucas Hernandez. I need to remember which Hernandez I've got. Big cross in. Donnarumma just peppers it out, and Mbappe comes deep to get the ball. Now Kylian Mbappe going to turn on those afterburners. He is a bit. He's going around men. He has got men with him. He's got men with him. He needed them because the finish was atrocious. Did you see that finish from Kylian Mbappe? I would not have expected that. And somehow at half-time, it's only 1-0. I'm shook. I'm absolutely shook. We should be leading this by several goals. Several goals. I'm going to say I'm happy, even though I'm not. I'm going to tell Kylian that he needs to sort his life out. Ousmane Dembele really needs to as well. Colasole has been okay. I'll leave everything at that and we'll just go into the second half, because good performance, just not in front of goal. That's the area where I'm a little bit disappointed. So a marked improvement on that is needed, lads, if that's okay. I mean, we've dominated the game, but I want to get at least 3, I think, is probably my target for this game. But at the moment, we're not doing it. Right, we start with Lorient in possession again. My French is not good, so I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong. Right, Hakimi heads it to Vitinha. Vitinha to Kolo Muani. Kolo Muani actually loses possession there, and we give Lorient a chance here. Very defensive formation I got, by the way. It's a 5-man... Well, it's a simple ball over the top. It's Skriniar who's let us down. And Donnarumma, what Donnarumma is doing there, I have no idea. Mbappe's had one of the worst games I could have ever imagined he would have. And all of a sudden, we're at risk of drawing the first game of the season. We need to do something. I can't take Kylian Mbappe off because it's Kylian Mbappe. But we need to do something here, because this is not going to plan at all. This is not the script. Right, I'm going to do something I've been toying with, which is I'm going to change the formation ever so slightly. It is meaning that people are not going to necessarily have the best star ratings, but it is what it is. I'm going to bring Vitinha back to deep line playmaker on support. Ugarte is going to stay in the position he was doing. Everything else is going to stay the same. Basically, I just want an extra player here, but these two getting forwarded. I want an extra link in the attack as well. I think that probably will help. It's essentially the same formation and tactic we used with Villa towards the end of it, the tiki-taka 4-2-3-1. I think it... The problem is, when I've used the tiki-taka with the 4-3-3, even with a central midfielder on attack, whoever the striker is just gets isolated up front. And I think that is what's happened to Mbappe today. So we'll just see whether this gives him a little bit more to work with, hopefully. I mean, Mbappe tried something there. The ideal solution would be to have Mbappe on one of the wings and get a deep line forward in, which if we're here for more than one season, we will do. Ideally, I don't want to be here for more than one season. I'm thinking ahead that we should only be here for one. I'm very, very, very disappointed in how we have done today. Right, well, it's substitution o'clock. I am taking Kylian Mbappe off. Kolo Muani is going to come on. I'm going to bring on Marco Asensio. Ousmane Dembele is going to come off for Kangin Lee. I didn't expect to make that as a change today. And, I mean, Donnarumma's had a shocker as well, but I'm not going to take Donnarumma off. I think I'm going to bring on Schlotterbeck just for a bit of defensive stability. And, well, might be on to a very disappointing start in the first game here of Chasing Glory. This actually could be a huge disappointment. We have got minutes left to try and get a win. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a disappointing home draw. It is. Wow. We've dominated them all the way through. But Kylian Mbappe, the superstar himself, has failed to find the back of the net. I'm going to thrash my arms. I'm not going to quite throw the water bottle yet. I am, however, going to find Kylian. Thrash my arms and shout at him. He's stressed. He should be stressed. He should be stressed. There's a reason why I don't want to renew his contract, because he should really be playing a lot better than that. That's very disappointing, but it's good to see Kolo Muani doing the job. So I'm now debating about this 4-3-3 and thinking maybe, do we copy the tactic and do we go 4-2-3-1 like we ended the game there? Because I just think it gives us better personnel. It just, to me, it makes sense to do it. And maybe I've just realised that have these two as the defensive midfielders, but have them going forward. I don't mind them going forward. Have Soler attacking. Dembele didn't really get involved in that game. I think I might pot him up to attacking just to try and get something out of him. The problem is, if we had significant funds, I'd go out and buy a deep line forward striker instead of changing the system to this. But we don't have the funds to do that. However, I've just thought Carlos Soler, who didn't have the best game, but didn't have the worst game. I mean, he could now go to the wing, because he can play on the wing. I mean, admittedly, he doesn't like playing as that position. I mean, Kolo Muani can play on the left. Let's move these two around. How does Kolo Muani do on this side as inside forward? Apparently very well. Soler we could put as a winger. His original natural position is as a winger. And take Dembele off for Asensio, because Marco Asensio's natural position is as that. And he's very good at that. He's very good on the right as well. I mean, even then, we swap these two back around. Asensio out wide. I mean, Asensio, what does he prefer to do? He prefers to be an inverted winger on attack. We can make that happen. Inverted winger on attack. Soler stays in the middle and Kolo Muani maybe goes on the left. Or we even swap these two around. Have Mbappe out wide and Kolo Muani here. Because Mbappe will get more on the ball here than he will up front. We have that as the attacking front three. And then the only concern I've then got is the inverted wing back. There's no one really on this side. So maybe we actually change tacks. We've got the two in the middle here. Maybe, just maybe we go with a wing back on support instead. Go a bit more traditional on things, maybe. And we go with that instead rather than trying to force a back three. I mean, Hernandez is definitely good as a third defender in a back three. He can definitely do the job very, very well. But after that performance, I'm thinking maybe we need a little bit more going forward. Defensively, we were fine, other than Donnarumma ridiculously coming out when he didn't need to, and Skriniar making a real howler. I think we'll be fine, but that's a bit of a warning shot. We need to step up and be a lot better than that, a lot better going forward. I mean, I'm going to change this back down to positive. Let's not go too attacking. But I think that formation might be the better one. I'm going to make sure that we're training that formation. I'm not actually doing training in this save, it's worth pointing out. I'm letting my assistant manager do it. I think maybe we go with that instead. I mean, none of the transfers we've made are going to be affected by this at all. The defensive midfielder is going to be fine. The young kid there, Zaire Emery, will be fine there. Koku obviously can play there, no problem at all, as can Asensio. Will be absolutely fine. And then we've got some really, really strong talents come off the bench. Ousmane Dembele, who can play on either wing, obviously, is a great option. So I think actually maybe this might work out a little bit better, perhaps. Potentially, I don't know. Right, I've waffled on long enough. I'm going to go through to the end of the transfer window. We'll see what results we get and we'll see what the squad looks like. Fingers crossed the results get a little bit better than this. And just like that, we are here at the end of the transfer window. And, well, things go pretty well. We're currently, as it stands, top of Ligue 1. We did recover from that draw on the opening. I say recover as if that's a massive disaster, which it absolutely isn't, but we have improved since then. We've won every game since then, as you can see. 3-1 against Toulouse, 5-0 against Lens, and then 2-0 against Lyon last time out. Kolo Muani, of all of the players, the top goal scorer. He has been playing as the striker for us up front. It's been Kylian Mbappe on the left-hand side that's been the most effective version of Kylian Mbappe, but even then, only a goal and an assist so far is a little bit disappointing. I mean, I know he's a good player, but I've not been able to get much out of him so far. I mean, pre-season it was fine. Pre-season it was great. Injured for the Toulouse game. Did really well against Lens. Didn't really perform against Lyon. I mean, I need to see a little bit more from him, if I'm being honest with you. You know, the fact that I get to turn around in Football Manager and say, oh, I need to see a bit more from Kylian Mbappe. So, yeah, that's disappointing. But so far, so good. We're looking good. We're looking strong. We haven't got into the cup competitions yet, obviously. Now, in terms of transfers, oh boy, it was a tough window. We managed to get in, I think... I'm just trying to think whether you saw Getroida and Tadibo come in. I don't think you did. I don't think you saw them get finalised. Yeah, I've just double checked. You didn't see them get finalised. So, we did bring in a few players. I think you already know about Koku, who's here on loan. We also brought in Lut Charel Getroida, whose name I have definitely just butchered. He's coming as a backup defensive midfielder. Can do striker, goodness me, Stu. Can do central defender, can also do right back as well. So he very much is a great cover player who's coming in and will do a job for us. Then Jean-Claire Codibo, formerly of Barcelona, formerly of many clubs, to be honest with you, has found his way at 23 years old to Paris Saint-Germain. He will be a very good cover defender for sure. And that was it. Along with those three, Bashagli and Schlotterbeck, that was our business. 5 players in. All of them other than Schlotterbeck, I would say, are cover players. And Schlotterbeck is probably a cover player, really. So we didn't exactly break the... Well, I say break the bank. Spent a lot of money overall, including the pre-existing transfers. But we didn't exactly go nuts with ours, other than for Schlotterbeck. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of these transfers are expensive. Some of them, like Bashagli, are an utter waste. In terms of players out, it was a struggle. You knew that Danilo Pereira went out on the deadline day. We did get Hugo Ekitike out on loan and Ethan Mbappe out on loan. I think you knew about Kurzawa, but if you didn't, he's out for £500,000. The one player we didn't get out is Keylor Navas. Keylor Navas is still knocking about the place in... I mean, this is the depth that I went. I dropped him down to the second team. I am now going to move into the senior squad. And if I get the opportunity to add him back to the kind of squad that we use, I will do, because he will be a useful player. And hopefully, by having him in and around there, he might get some offers in January. I don't know. I got as desperate as putting him up for zero value. That's how desperate I got to try and get rid of him. And it didn't work. So, now, what are we going to do? Well, we are going to go through. And, I mean... Done that transfer window. I'm thinking, do we now go through to January? See how we're doing. Play a couple of games here or there. And then episode will be kind of about that kind of stuff. I think what we'll probably do is, next episode we'll have a couple of games in. We'll put one game in and around here, let's say. just to see how we're getting on, and we'll go through the fixtures. And then one game in and around here, and then we'll stop at the halfway point of the season. So the next video will cover that period between now and halfway, but it will show some games, some highlights, things like that. Sure, yeah, I'm making this up as I go. We're going to try and get this done in, well, this season done in 3 videos. That is the plan. We're going to try and fly through it a little bit quicker, and we'll see what fun we can have. But that is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Hope you like the concept of chasing glory, and hopefully we can go and win some things. Otherwise, this save is a complete waste of time. Thank you very much for watching. Do not forget to leave a big like on the video if you have enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe. It is completely free to do so, and you'll make this guy very happy. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.